What?
Hey
Are
there,
we
I'm
hugging?
Mark.
I'm Evan.
And on this week's episode, we talk about fences.
It's chaotic. You step into the mind of Evan's process to solving problems.
It's not
Mark?
chaotic, actually. It's a window into how amazing people come up with amazing things.
Which is still very chaotic. Enjoy. Welcome to the Something to Prove podcast, where we all have something to prove, and we're trying to hang out and be a place to complain and tell ourselves about how crappy our lives are. I am your co-host, Evan Carmichael, with my constant co-host, Mark Drager, who is having technical issues. So you get to listen to me for the next hour. We're going to start by trying to imagine what Mark is saying. This is lip reading with Mark Drager.
I was saying, no, we're not. We're not a place just to complain.
All right. Are you complaining about what I just said?
I am.
All right.
I take issue with that.
Great.
Why are you saying that? Are you in a weird mood today, or what's going on?
I like starting on time, getting this stuff ready, and let's go.
I was here a minute early, waiting for you to get in the waiting room. I didn't know my headphones weren't working until you got here.
Welcome to the Something to Poop podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going, Evan?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Are you going to ask why I'm in a suit or no?
No. That's
No?
why you didn't shave your head this morning.
You're going to ask why I didn't shave my head this morning? I don't know. Should I have?
Oh. Just as relevant as the suit.
I feel like the suit is more relevant because it's abnormal for me. For all the listeners who might be listening, I'm in a suit.
He just has a blazer on. He's not really in a suit.
I'm in a full suit.
Oh, all right. There you go. Okay. No tie. No tie.
No tie. I guess I could put one on if I really wanted to, but I'm in a suit because today was Rachel's graduation, and no one can have a good graduation, I guess, right now. And on my birthday in March, she wrote me a card that said, "I hope that COVID ends so that way at graduation we can have a daddy-daughter dance together."
Nice.
So I got dressed up for her. I took her to school, and then we picked up her stuff and took some photos. We made her get all dressed up, took some photos in the parking lot in front of this big sign. And then right there in the parking lot, I made her do a daddy-daughter dance with me.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. And I came up with this idea while I was going for a run this morning, and it popped into my head, and I thought, oh no, it's popped into my head. Now I have to do this.
Right? There we go.
Idea to action. Here we go. And so we just
Let's go, baby.
We just got back about an hour ago, and then I got to work, and I thought, I will wear this suit on the podcast for Rachel as well.
I like it.
Yes.
Good story time.
Yeah, I am starting to pick up some of the things that you're drilling into my head slowly over time. I think if you spend enough time with Evan, guys, if you spend enough time listening to him, it'll slowly start to wear off onto you.
Subscribe to the Something to Poop podcast. Something to Poove podcast. You get to hang out with us every week.
How you doing, Evan? I feel like we haven't had a chance to connect recently because we've been so busy. I've been crazy busy. You've been very busy. How are you?
Oh, it's a weird way to ask it. Pretty good. I'm wrestling through some things, so which is always exciting because yeah. So I was going through all my old books and getting rid of a lot of them because I don't use them. I barely read. But there was one that I thought, you know what? There's some books that I saved and I bookmarked stuff and I underlined, and I should go back over them every now and then. So I picked one up, which was Swarm Rise. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but this guy in, I think it's Sweden, created the new government, new party, and basically from the ground up. And it's basically how to get people to follow your cause and build a movement in a political context. So it's you gotta siphon out the information for kind of a business one, but. One of the things that I took from it was 6 direct reports. This is some super like obscure thing that I took from the book, and like that became the thing I latched onto.
So anything more than 6 direct reports is just too many?
How he organizes it is 6 direct reports. And as you scale down, like he's built a national party with millions of followers and all this stuff. So you go national level to like whatever, province to city to region to, I don't know. It's like you just keep going down. Anytime it gets over 6, I forget what the theory was behind it. Just the relationship, the amount to keep the relationships even between the people now becomes too much work compared to the productivity.
Okay. So now you're challenging yourself to cut out everybody but 6 people in your life?
So I'm trying to do 6 direct reports, not cutting everybody out. I'm still doing Mondays where it's mentoring day and doing the higher level work, but not the day to day. That's already happening. Like a lot of the stuff I don't touch day to day, like the editing. I'm not doing editing day to day. So I was trying to figure out what are the 6 levels, like who would be the 6 reports. Right now I'm wearing most of my hats are on the marketing side, right? Operations, Nina takes care of all the operations, like who's doing what and when and posting and scheduling, all that stuff. It's like, I'm not dealing with any of that stuff, but I'm effectively the chief marketing officer for the business. A lot of the people that I connect with is marketing.
CVO, CMO.
Yeah. And, so it forced some thinking. It forced some, realignment, possibly in promotions, possibly inside the team. I have to look at all my team and just plot them on the map of like who should be in what division under who. We'll need to bring on some new people as well as we grow.
So you're building a hierarchy, like a matrix team, a hierarchy team, or more of an agile team? Because you guys have been fairly agile in the past, right? Self-organizing, here's the challenge, people step up when they need to fill in the gap and kind of swarm on things, or
no, it's hierarchy. It's
hierarchy, but it's been very flat.
Hierarchy flat, but also we're beast mode productivity in hierarchy. So I need to figure out where everybody fits. I need to not have as many things flow through me. There's whole new divisions that I need to create that haven't even existed, and we don't even have trainees in the role yet for.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that's part of the problem is like some of them are super easy. This is my process at the beginning. It's why it's messy. I didn't sleep till like 4:30 in the morning or something the other day. At the beginning, it's very messy because I don't know where the gates are, right? And so it starts off with one thing. Ooh, 6 direct reports. Ooh, we should do that for my YouTube side. And it's super easy to fit onto that one little tiny piece of the business. But to apply it everywhere, it is not easy. And what are the divisions and how do we apply it? And who are the people that we need to have and what are the roles and all that. So then it becomes this giant thing. Oh my God, it's overwhelming. Okay, now we need to figure out where the gates are. And my OCD kicks in. I just want to solve the problem. This is the messy world of Evan as I'm trying to problem solve.
I love it. We're working through this. I guess we're part working through this. I set a 3-year target just to help me bring some structure to how aggressively we can grow and should grow, so I can make investments in team that don't feel so scary because they're all part of a sequence. So I planned out 3 years from now what the team would be. It's 54 people based off of hitting a certain number of clients, based off of a certain amount of revenue. It's 54 people. Right now we're at, 8 or 9. We were at 22 last year. And then once I got alignment from Louis on all of that, the different roles and the different people, their next step is to write out the roles and responsibilities of each role, and then to negotiate the hiring order, so that way the different people can kind of say what order it is they feel that we should hire up. And then Louis and I are going to sit down and figure out how everyone works together. And then all we have to do is just put together a roster of here are the people that we hire. Here's how they click into the plan. Here are the roles and responsibilities. Here's how everyone will work together when we're 54 people, for example, or whatever it is, 20 people, 15 people. I don't know if you're going to go that structured or not, but we just wrapped this up earlier this week.
Yeah, like 3 years is bonkers for me. I just created a new international division, right? Where we're looking at making even more channels, and I need somebody to be in charge of that, for example. So all the all the language channels report. I wouldn't have thought of that. Like 3 years is just bonkers.
Well,
for me.
the 3 years isn't necessarily like the business lines. It's the people I need to be able to deliver what I want to deliver, and to be
It's
able
what you
to
want to deliver today.
What's
it's
that?
What you want to deliver today.
Yes, and it'll change, and that's fine. We'll learn new things, and it'll change. But if I need to go from if I need to go from a team of 8 to a team of 54, that's like not. It's like I got to think like the person who has a 54-person team, not like the person who has an 8-person team. So this structure has helped me figure out the plan that we want to put in place to be able to work the plan, knowing it'll change.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like if I had 54 people right now, what's the kind of business I want to be running right now and working towards it? And the 3-year timeline is totally arbitrary. So I also have to manage myself and where I'm going to spend my time, because I also love, there's things that I love just getting involved in, and I need to have like my own little skunk works team on top of things, because I like just jumping into things.
Gary Vee talks about, I don't know if you've heard him talk about the different departments they have in their company, and how the finance people, legal people always get mad at him because all of the shareholders want each department head to run a proper P&L. But then he'll just come in ignoring profits, ignoring losses, and just say, oh, guys, we got to do this. I love it. And so he's talked about like a Gary tax. So that way the leaders in his team have their P&Ls adjusted for whenever he just throws caution to the wind and does whatever he wants to do, because he's like jumping in and like getting super excited about something, and he wants everyone to change instantly to help him out. And he doesn't want everyone else to slow him down. I know that you're not that structured and that it doesn't bother you, but it seems the same thing where it's like, hey guys, this is what I'm excited about right now. Let's attack it.
I do that normally. I just now in trying to set up a structure is trying to figure out what inside of that I'm going to have changing direct reports depending on what I'm working on. So there's the ongoing, and then there's going to be, I'm going to just kick up some new idea and just start working on it and bring people with me. And then this always happens where it's like you create something new and then I hand it off, right? Create something new, I hand it off and create the structure around it. So it's messy. It's messy thinking. I'm not even articulate to myself the way I want to, right? But that's what it's exciting, because then massive change happens as a result.
You don't sound excited. You sound tired or upset or worried.
I am, but this is the creative process for me. Whenever I don't know how to do something, I need to figure out the borders, and then I hack and optimize and end up crushing it. So this is the uncomfortable stage of not knowing where the borders are, of not knowing where all the pieces fit, and trying to figure that out. I'm a lot closer than I was like 2 days ago, if you asked me then, but we're not there yet.
Oh, for sure.
Probably by the weekend.
And how do you go about it? Like, I know what I do, right? I'll watch stuff, I'll listen to stuff, I'll think about things, I'll talk to you. I'll come up with an idea, you'll bat it down. What is your process to putting this around? It's watching people, content, reading, thinking, asking people questions.
No, brainstorming. Like I got to get into my own head. So I write. I don't even know how deep the hole goes. So I just start writing stuff. It seems as one simple thing, and then it blows up to a much bigger thing, which is exciting. But again, figuring out where the gates are. So I write. Like I wrote down, okay, YouTube. Okay, great. So we have him here, and then we have these people underneath. Oh, but if we're doing it here, then what do we do here? And how does it apply to Nina? And then it becomes this giant thing. So I just start writing it out, but there's no cohesion and there's mistakes and it doesn't make sense. And if you actually applied that thing, it would be a total disaster, but it's a starting point. So then you come back to it, the next day, like, oh, okay, well now fix these things around. And then last night I go for a shower and I realize, what, all I need to do is first plot where my team is. I need to look at my current team, plot them out, and then figure out what roles I need and graduate towards it. And that structure gives me a lot more like, okay, that's what I need to do. Now I just need to do it. So it gives me more peace of mind, but there's still unknowns in what the positions are going to look like. So I just start. I start and it's messy and everything sucks and nothing fits together. And if anybody looked at it, it's a total disaster, which frustrates and bothers me, so that I need to fix it. And then we keep working it.
It's not good, or it doesn't feel right, or what?
I know it's not good. I know it's not, the whole plan isn't there yet. So I don't read, I don't look at anything else. I don't talk to people about it. I stopped reading the book. Like I can't go back and I can't move on to the next section of the book and anything else that is in there because I haven't worked through the thing that I need to work through first. So this is this happens. I don't know how often this happens.
Every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, multiple times per year. And then sometimes it's a quick solve and sometimes it takes a little bit more working through. Yeah, I just need to get to the point where I'm happy with it. And then that's what we do. So I'm not there yet. I don't know how to, I don't know. Yeah, the more complicated sides, I don't know how to deal with. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Marketing.
Huh?
Marketing. What do I do on marketing? It's exciting. I just need to do it. The unknowns are the projects that are making me think that I need to fix. So that's what I'm working on.
It's not the usual Evan.
Great.
This is
Something
the
new.
contemplative Evan. This is a new side of you, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't think I like it. I like that you're sharing it. I like that you're talking about it. I like that you're revealing that you're working through this and it's frustrating you. I think that's good. I like the really like Evan.
I can still be that for you.
I know. I'm just curious what you're working through. It's amazing.
This is why I also don't I need to work it out. My usual process is I get hooked on an idea and I might research and I might go look at it. There's nobody that I need to research. Like at some point you got to work through it yourself, at least for me. So once I get a decent enough model, then I might share it. Then I might talk about it. Then I might ask for feedback, including my team that doesn't even know any of this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And just to point out the holes. Because when you can spot your own holes, you fix it. Like I know there's tons of holes in it just for me. If I gave me this, I'd throw it out of the office and say, "What is this garbage?" So I need to fix it. But it's a starting point. It's not that this sucks and stop. It's okay. This is draft 1.
Okay, so you put the fence around it.
Yeah.
Right. You feel like, okay, I got something that feels right. I have the fence around it. Do you go to your team and try to work it out on paper? Or do you say we're going to go and fix things as we go? And then you're going to make a change and go, that was disastrous. Reverse that change, guys. Go back. That didn't work out the way I thought it would. Or like, I know you're so present focused. So I don't think you're going to sit down and imagine every single step of every single thing and how it could work and stuff, right? On paper.
I just need to, it's just a feeling thing. I need to get secure enough in the feeling of it that we can launch with it, even though positions will change and structure will slightly change.
And what's the goal for you? So you're reading this book, six direct reports. Obviously you want more output, you want more efficiency, you want more focus, you want progress faster. Okay, all of those things, of course. But you specifically, personally, like what is the goal for all of these changes?
That's it. Those are good ones.
Those are universal ones though for you. Like I'm talking Evan Carmichael.
It's being more productive and being more efficient, especially with people who are reporting to me and me managing projects, but also internally on the team, giving people responsibilities and letting them run with things. And I'll always, there's a lot of management by walking around that will happen. So I'll have my hands in everything. I'll notice something and then.
So you're going to notice something and then say, why the hell did we do this? And then they're going to be like, oh, we did it for these reasons. And you'll be like, okay, don't do that again. Or you'll be like, okay, I guess that was a good reason. Or you're just going to like notice things.
No. That's like, we got to fix it. If there's something that goes wrong, we got to fix it. But often people will be trained on something and then they apply the training they've gotten, and they run with it. And they come with new ideas that they are testing, and some of them I agree with and some of them I don't, but whatever, test it and see if it works. I love creative ideas and seeing if it's like, prove it, show me that it works. Awesome. The thing that is, I'm going to come up, I think it's a lot of entrepreneurs, you're going to come up with new creative things that people can be doing in their work to solve problems. And I like that. So I need to be able to jump in and say, oh, like that, we should, oh, was that our rule? Okay, that's not a good rule. We need to tweak it like this, because as environments change, you come with new ideas, you have to go off and execute it. So just applying the training that they got is just like you. It's a good 3-year plan. Great. Things will change. The training that they have helps them now, but in a month, something might change.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So
the reason why we picked 3 years was because that's the amount of time, I believe, if we're still very aggressive, to hit that level. And to me, that's scale. Everything short of that is us working towards that goal. And everybody beyond that is just more team. My thinking as of today, which will change over time, my thinking as of today is, this is the team and size that I need to be able to feel like we've hit a milestone, like we've hit scale. And that's based on 36 clients. And how long will it take to onboard and to build 36 clients and to build this team and to hire these people up? If we're able to compress this into a year, I don't know if we would survive it. It would just be like, is it possible? I don't know. Could it be done? I don't know. Will we be able to hire 42 new people over 12 months and still maintain some level of culture? I don't know. Like, it starts to get, so 3 years is long enough to give me some time to pace this out. I have confidence in the hiring decisions we want to make, but short enough of a window to still feel very aggressive to me. I don't know about that. Maybe it's not aggressive at all. It seems aggressive to me.
Words like aggressive and scale are totally arbitrary. You think that's aggressive. Others would say that's baby sauce. And others would say that's way too aggressive. 36 clients equals scale is just arbitrary, right? People would say $1 million business is already scale. And people would say you're not scaling until you're $100 million, right? It's all arbitrary. Doesn't mean not having the plan, but it's just.
I know. I'm just telling you what feels right to me. You've turned me into a feeler, right? So I have to feel it or no?
Gotta feel it.
You got to feel it.
So a challenge with something like this is there's different fences. There's the easy fences and then the bigger fences. The whole business and how it all fits is still unknown, that I got to figure out. So just work through I wrote it in the Fanta, my Fanta notebook.
He has a Fanta notebook that has this on the cover.
Yeah.
Is that backwards on your camera?
Nope.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. It says, beyond this cover are pages filled with extraordinary ideas that will change the world.
Not the one that's scratched out. That's.
You have one scratched out?
Yeah, one of your clients. Didn't one of your clients?
Yeah. I sent it to one of my clients who was leaving, who said, are filled with non-extraordinary ideas that will not change the world. And I got really offended. I was like, what a jerk.
And did he send it back? What happened?
No, he just
took a picture,
scratched something in and sent me a photo and said, there, I fixed it. He was leaving the company he was at. He was certainly not happy with the culture there, I guess. I was like, wow, okay, that's negative.
So good.
But anyway,
working through it.
Well, I think this is super exciting because, I don't know anything about what you're doing yet, but I think this is super exciting because from these types of questions and drive come for people like you, especially because you're so willing to do a 180, to do a big complete rethink, to throw things away, to try things really quickly. Some crazy stuff will come out of this, which is really fun to watch.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. I like it.
Yeah. The creative process is messy. That's where it gets frustrating. That's what the constant reminder, even for myself. Why can't I look at it. I look at the sheet. Nothing new is coming. Okay. So let's go for a shower or let's go for a walk or I'll get back to it tomorrow. For someone who's OCD and needs to solve this thing right now and you can't, because you need time or perspective or a fresh look at it or something else. That's the frustrating. It's not just a matter of throwing more hours at it.
This is a really interesting thing because I run a marketing agency, as you know. We do a lot of creative stuff for many, many years. And the number one thing that bothers me, because I can't get ahead of it, is that the creative process, as you just said, is messy. And sometimes it can be linear. Sometimes you can just put step by step in place. Sometimes you go down a path to figure out it's the wrong direction. You have to course correct. Sometimes you have to just put stuff on paper and bat it out with people. But clients in particular, but a lot of people, even people on teams, somehow feel or think that it shouldn't be frustrating, that it should be clear, that you should get to the answer. Why don't you have the answer right away on day one? And that weighs on me because I would love to make it clear. I would love to make it simple. I would love to not make it messy and make it linear and make everything make sense and not frustrate people. But it seems like the expectation is out there that, like, if you went to an artist and said, make me art, that they're going to be like, sure. And then they're going to come back and you'll be like, here's this art that you love. And you're going to be like, oh, it's perfect. The expectation is that, but your art is your business, right? Like it's the thing that you're crafting. It's the thing that you're making. It's the thing that you're living and breathing and have to try and live with. And it's just, I wish more people respected or understood the fact that this is a really messy thing and it's not going to be perfect right away. Because I carry that pressure. I carry that worry all the time.
Well, but like at the same time, I think you should. Like, I think, yes, you have to know your process, but moving that line forward, moving the break line forward, I think is important.
What's the break line?
The break line, when you give yourself a break to say, oh, like, we can't do anything else right now.
Moving it forward, meaning like deeper into the process?
Moving it forward, like doing more before you give yourself a break.
Oh.
Accepting, like a lot of people will hear that. It's like, yeah, of course it's messy. And then you accept your garbage process. It keeps you slow.
Well, we've been trying not to do that, and we've been reinventing ourselves. And who we're turning into. See, the challenging part is we're in this really awkward place right now where we're not who we were up here. You know, like me, the company, the team, we're not who we were, but we're not yet who we need to be to deliver what's up here, which is like really frustrating and hard to know what we're working towards and not be there yet is,
well, that's forever.
Dude, man, it's just hard.
See, what did I say? The Start the New podcast where we come and complain.
I'm not complaining.
It's just hard.
I'm not complaining.
You do hard.
I know. I do hard things for sure.
As soon as you get there,
I'm not complaining. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying that there's this weird middle place where, you know, Tom Bilyeu says, you know, I was smart enough to know that I was smart, and smart enough to know that I was smarter than most people, but not nearly as smart as everyone else that I wanted to be like, and that was an uncomfortable level of self-awareness. I'm deep enough into the process, having worked with you and through change, where it's like I know that I believe in change, and I've seen change, and I know in change, and yet I'm far enough into the change, but not close enough to my goal yet, that it's like, damn it. How do we get there faster? How do we do this faster? How do we just stop playing around? At what point does this turn into the thing and not the thing we're trying to make it the thing? Do you know what I mean?
Move the brake line. Move the brake line forward.
I've been hustling like crazy this week, man. It's so funny because we're recording this the last week in June. This will be coming out the first week of July. I somehow think that on Monday of this week, everyone must have gone back to work. Or people have been working all along and everyone's bosses must have said, hey, where are we with that project? Because this has been one of the craziest, busiest weeks that I think I've had since maybe even this year, maybe even all of this year. It's been one of the craziest weeks. And I enjoy that, but but eventually the adrenaline wears off. And the other night I was so tired, I fell asleep at 7:30. I passed out. I was watching a lecture from Dean, last name I can't remember, the guy you told me to check out, Joe Polish's friend.
Oh, Dean Jackson?
Dean Jackson. I was watching a 2-hour lecture from Dean Jackson, sent it to the team. Love it, digging really into all of that stuff. And I fell asleep like an hour, 45 minutes into it, I think. I'm not quite sure when I fell asleep because it was like 7:30. But yeah, man, everybody's waking up. Everybody's coming back. Things are happening. Do you feel it or no? You don't touch people.
I don't touch people?
You don't touch outside people. You touch Evan Carmichael people.
I mean, it's been bonkers on our YouTube calendar. We've been working just as much as ever. I think in terms of people reaching out to me, it hasn't really, I mean, normal. I mean, we get a lot of incoming, but hasn't really, we don't have clients though that we're corporate clients who have people who work 9 to 5, who then we're now back to jobs kind of stuff. That's not my business. So,
one of the things that I never really realized in the type of business that I'm building, and somewhere along the way I learned it, but I only was able to articulate it quite recently. I think a lot of businesses have this, right? Like, but especially in service-based business, you have to build your business and you have to build your clients' businesses. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot to do. And so sometimes, I'm sure the grass is greener, but sometimes I look at structures like what you have, where you're like, your number one focus is on your product and your business and only that. And I go like, oh man, can you imagine what it would be like if you just focused all of your time on your product and your business, and all of your effort and all of your care and all of your energy and all of your love just went into building one thing? I often feel like I'm trying to build 8 different things for a bunch of different people. And that's something that's, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's something that's really hard to do. I'm going to preface it every time now.
The grass is greener, Mark. It's so much better.
But it is the grass is greener, right? Like, because you have your own bag of challenges.
Oh no, my challenges are way better than your challenges, for sure. The grass is greener on this side.
Oh, you're saying the grass is greener? It's way better?
Yes. But it's mostly because your clients suck. Like that's most clients. Most clients suck. Most clients don't have the same vision as you. And when you need to sacrifice your vision for their castrated version of it, it sucks. And the bigger the company is, the harder it is, because the less impact you see, the harder decisions are, the more opinions are, people who you don't respect, all of that stuff you got to deal with. That sucks.
Clients who don't suck, Mr. Evan Carmichael.
Yeah, great.
Toronto Dance Salsa. I can name a few more, but I won't right now.
Sure. But the bigger the client is, and or the less aligned they are with what you want to do for them, the more that sucks compared to just doing your own thing. In terms of picking up, I think we noticed it when did COVID really hit? March 12th. March 12th.
March 12th.
That's when it hit?
Was the day that sports was canceled, concerts were canceled. It was the last day of school for us here in Ontario and in other places. I know the States, the March 15th, which was the kind of the following Monday, I think.
Okay, so it was like mid-March. There was like 2 to 3 weeks in March where things really slowed down, because entrepreneurs who are in my audience were like panic mode and not sure what to do and not doing their business and not doing anything. So that's when things slowed down. But then after that, people realize, okay, well, time to build. Let's go build. I'm going to build something. So ever since then, like,
don't you want to build something you're proud of?
Yeah. People want to build something they're proud of.
And others.
So yeah, now this is coming out in July. Yeah. So since April, it's been full steam ahead. I mean, people still dealing with problems around COVID. Like, how do I manage my business during COVID? How do I market myself? How do I build my YouTube channel? How do I X with COVID? So it's still adjusting to the reality of the world, but they're in the mindset of, I need to build, not, oh my God, panicking, freaking out, what are we going to do? Check the news 1,000 times a day that people were doing in the first 2 weeks, at least entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I'm listening to a podcast. It's interesting. I'm listening to a podcast on most of my runs, where I hadn't listened to it in a really long time. And so I went, oh, I'm going to go back and listen. And I hadn't listened since November. So I'm listening to like November 2019, I'm listening to December, I'm listening through January. And I'm just like, oh man, guys, ladies, gentlemen, you have no idea. Like they're talking about the future. So like, you have no idea what's about to happen. And so now I've just hit the point where it's middle of March and I've stopped listening because it's just, first of all, it's now almost July. So we're 3 or 4 months into this, which is kind of bonkers to me that one, I guess I didn't realize it would be so long back when it started, which seems silly to me now, but we didn't know, we didn't realize. And it was way scarier in March than it is now, for me at least. And so I don't really want to put myself back in that place. But yeah, I think in the initial stages, it was really worrisome and really scary. And now, for me, my biggest concern is just the unknown. Like, will crazy recessions happen or won't they? And so, you asked me on another podcast live about what we did financially at Fanta to like just get prepared for it. And when I answered the question, it helped remind me of the things that we did. And so if we're able to get through this period and then this recession, going from like 22 people down to 7, and then hopefully very quickly scaling back up to 20 or 30 people, I will come out of this recession having taught myself that we can react quickly, that we can pivot quickly, that we can scale down or we can scale up, that it's not an embarrassment, that it's not the end of the world. And that's good for me though, because the last time that I went through a recession was 2009 and we did not weather it very well. It was a disaster. I spent the last few years afraid of a recession because I just didn't think we'd be able to make it through. And should we be able to make this through scaling down, scaling up, and doing all those other things very quickly, at the very least, I'll have more confidence now, and anyone else who survives it will have confidence to know that you can get through this type of thing in the future.
Cool. I like it. I think it's the constant adjustment. Like a lot of things that we plan on are based off 6 months. Some of the things that we know are consistent are great, but otherwise we base it off 6 months. So if like I'm going to hire somebody in a new role, it's based off of our trailing 6 month average in that business unit.
Typically, if I'm hiring someone in a new role, it's because we've waited a year before pulling the trigger. We're trying to move a lot quicker now. We're trying to always be jumping, Mr. Carmichael.
Always be jumping. Yeah, I don't know how this fits with you. I think it's something you need to wrestle with too. How much? Because now I'm thinking my main roles in my business are the things obviously that I'm going to keep doing, like be the face and be the brand and be the heart of the company and mentor and all that stuff. The marketing side, I'm still trying to figure out my role, my ideal role. What's my ideal role in the marketing side of the business? I don't know how to process that. What's my ideal role in the marketing of the business? I think
that everything that you see as creative in your business is in fact the brand and marketing. And most of the passion projects you have and the things you jump on and things you get excited about are programs related to brand and marketing and growth and all of those things. I don't think you're not going to give that up. Like, you're not going to give that up. You're going to give up the PMing of it and the trafficking of it and stuff like that. But the ideation and the what ifs and the like being attached to it and stuff is like, I've worked with you on enough small things even for you to be like, I am the brand strategy. I just don't feel it. It doesn't feel right. Like, can you imagine giving that over and running with things? Like, it may help you grow quicker if not everything had to feel right with you all the time. But you're not going to give that up, are you?
Any brand new thing? No. And I'll jump in on things. This is the managing by walking around. Like, I'll jump in on things constantly all the time, but I don't want to, and I'm not even now reviewing all the fine details. Like we made some ads for the course, or not for the course, for the book.
Yep.
For the video ads for the course that are launching or maybe launched recently.
Yeah, they didn't feel 100% to you, but you let them go anyway, which I really appreciated.
Well, you gave me a script, and I read. I mean, made one tweak to the script that we talked about, and otherwise I did the script.
Yeah.
I didn't feel 100%, but whatever. And I haven't even seen the final product. Like, you then worked with Christina, my editor, to put them up, and now they're launching, and I haven't even seen those videos, and they're in market right now, right? Like, those things are the kind of thing that if I saw an ad, if I saw one of those things go up and I have feedback on it, say, oh, why did we do this? Like, that's not even our brand color or something. We'll tweak it. But I'm already right now not the guy who sees everything that goes up. Look at this omelet masterpiece Nina just delivered to me. This is awesome. So I'm already not doing a lot of those things. Brand new ideas for sure.
I think that's a good level to hit. Like in my business, I don't review every. There's lots of projects that will go from, semi-start. I will kind of make sure we're going the right direction, almost to delivery, and sometimes even to delivery without it ever coming back to me. And then later I'll look at it and go, why did we do that? This is a mistake. We got to fix it. I would love to be more controlling over everything. That's just not a way to grow a business. So.
Well, and I don't see those things as super mattering. Like, we're going to make mistakes everywhere, all the time, in every division, constantly, and that's a minor thing. What I'm trying to marry is having no understanding of it limits creativity and limits the strategy. So knowing how the video is going to be used to what audience and what platform changes the strategy and changes the creative. Knowing what's available. So there's a big difference. If one of my strengths is going to be not really creative director, but be the heart and soul of the brand.
You're the chief visionary officer. That's essentially what you are. You're the CEO, you're the founder, you're the entrepreneur.
So knowing how it's used and knowing what's possible on the platform changes how we show up, changes the ideas, changes if I'm the talent.
See, I mean, we're getting into what we should be talking about on tomorrow's episode for the climb to or is tomorrow Friday? Yeah, tomorrow's episode for the climb to 10 million. Maybe we should. Okay. We should save the conversation for that. But here's an interesting thing. Like I said, Here's the thing with Mark Drager and Evan Carmichael. So we have a new team member, Natalia, who joined our team. She's a PM. She's a professional PM. I've been struggling to bring a PM into the company for 6 years, and for a whole bunch of reasons why it took me that long. But already 2.5 weeks in, she is bringing the structure, the clarity, the project ownership, the chasing people, the tasking people. The stuff is getting done in the order it needs to get done, at a quality it needs to be done, and the communications are there. Everything that I expected of my team to just naturally do, she's doing. And this is a great example. This is unlocking all kinds of amazing things. But I was talking to her about it. I talked to Louie a bunch of weeks ago. She's a domino hire. She's the type of hire where I know that I've been held up by not making this investment. Putting Louie in a role of COO, a domino play. That then unlocked a few other things. This is the next domino play. But when I was talking to her about it, I said, listen, I am trying to get from being an owner-operator who has run a multi-million-dollar business, but a fairly small business for many, many years, where I'm in the thick of it and I'm owner-operating. I'm trying to become a CEO. And I've never been a CEO before. I've not led a 30, 40, 50, 60 person team. I've not managed, tens of millions of dollars of resources. I don't know if I know how to do that yet, but I do know that that's where I want to be. And I do know that where I am right now is I'm still in the thick of everything. I'm not quite sure how to get there, but just knowing that that's what I'm working towards is, to me, feels like step one.
Well, here's what you're missing. This is a great example because it's the crux of this whole conversation. You are not an HR-driven CEO.
No, I'm a sales and marketing-driven person.
Right. That's a whole other thing. But you're not an HR-driven CEO. which is fine. And that's awareness. And that's why Louis is on board, and Louis is bringing on team, and he's hiring, and you're involved, but he's doing most of it because he's leading with his heart. Louis is an HR driven COO.
No. He's going to be the heart driven CEO. And
okay, awesome. Great. And you're going to be the chairman of the board. Awesome.
Whatever.
It all fits. Like Louis is the HR driven COO, which is a weird combination because COOs are not HR driven typically. Her coming in, if you think Louis' heart is the internal brand of Fanta.
Yes.
And Mark's brain is the external brand, or Mark's heart is the external brand, or whatever, right? And we're mashing these things together. Louis' heart is the internal brand of Fanta. Louis doesn't have the knowledge set that what's this woman's name?
Natalia.
Natalia?
Yeah.
Okay. Louis does not have the knowledge set of Natalia. Louis was an editor, a freaking video editor for years, and then now you're in charge of running and hiring and all this stuff that he has no idea how to do. And that's awesome because we love Louis and he's stepping up. But he doesn't have the domain expertise at all that Natalia does. So he's flying by the seat of his pants, trusting his heart and making decisions, and some of them work and some of them don't. But having somebody come in and do that part of the project management is a big relief of a burden. The problem is it doesn't have all of Louis' heart baked into each step. So if Louis understood the steps that she was applying, he could inject more heart into the entire process. It's that marriage. It's knowing how to do those things, even though he's not the expert at it, doesn't have to be the best in the world at it. It's understanding each step of the way so that he can inject his heart and not just trust in the expert who has some of the heart because he hired her. So he wouldn't hire her if she didn't have similar values, but it's not the same because she's not Louis. That's the same thing on the marketing side. Understanding
for you mean?
For me, for you,
yeah.
For marketing-driven people who want to step up and be leaders, but also inject their creativity in. If all I do is give it to the people who are doing marketing for me, it misses the heart. It misses the injection of creativity, things that I will see being my brand that other people won't see because they're not me.
Okay, but it depends on what you want to build. I guess we could look at, I guess I need to read Shoe Dog or something to have better insight on this. But, if you look at Phil Knight and his story.
I need to read Shoe Dog or you need to read Shoe Dog?
I do.
Okay.
Not where he is in the 2000s or the last 10 years, but where was he in the 80s, right? In the 60s when it was Blue Ribbon or whatever it was called first. And in the 70s, I know most of that story, it was pretty bumpy. But in the 80s, when it was big enough that he wasn't, I don't think, he wasn't the Steve Jobs where he was reviewing ad creative at 3:00 in the morning because he was the one who wanted to write the ad creative. It's about that. It's getting to the point where you have the people and you have the process and you have the accountability. I don't think anyone can replace the vision. Even if you hire salespeople, they're not going to sell as well as you would sell. Even if you hire creative people, they're not going to have the gusto to be able to speak with the amount of vision that you have. But if we're aiming to build and scale businesses, we have to turn some of this stuff over, right? With people who have alignment on values and heart. That's what I'm counting on, because I'm not the people-driven CEO that you mentioned.
For sure. It's figuring out what are the levers to pull. That's the fence that I'm struggling with. Like I go to Puerto Rico and we have Brendan and Dean and they've got giant teams and we're at an event that people are paying 30 to 50K to be at, and we're backstage and Dean is writing copy for his next, for his landing page. He has his landing page. He's got his ClickFunnels open and he's writing copy. And he's like, Brendan, I just wrote this insane copy. And everybody's huddling around the table, reading the copy that Dean just banged out while someone else was on stage. Like Brendan's on stage, Dean's banging out copy on his landing page. And then somebody else is going to I said, well, what about mobile? Somebody's going to make that mobile, right? Like we're going to, of course it has to be mobile first. We're going to make all that happen. Somebody else is going to do that. We're going to, right? But it doesn't mean he needs to necessarily write every bit of copy, but that's definitely a skill set that moves, it pushes a big needle forward. It's a small handle on a big tractor.
So, like I'm taking leverage language perhaps from Russell Brunson. He talks about in the sale in his books about domino statements, which are usually structured like, if I could get, if people believed X and to achieve Y, then all other objections would be meaningless. Like he has this domino statement that he likes to craft. I thought about the real hard things that I've done in my business over the last, decade plus that actually led to the greatest gains. And so I call those like kind of domino decisions. And putting Louis in the role was one for sure. But, Natalia is not out. I'm not going like, here you go, Natalia, fix everything. Here you go, Natalia, just like go ahead and build my business for me. We're really not making that mistake. We're spending a lot of time. We're collaborating.
But don't go to the other end. That's not what I'm saying. It's not just be totally hands off and don't know anything and just count on them to run everything.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying that that this skill set in my company this lack of skill set in my company has been holding us back for a very long time. And just in the last 2 weeks, by starting to incorporate someone with that focus, it's built so much momentum. And so over the next 4 weeks or 6 weeks, it'll just continue to drive more and more momentum, which will help us deliver things quicker. I'll have more confidence in the team. We'll be able to make the most of the sales opportunities in front of us. Our tack time, which is something I've been talking to the team about, should increase dramatically. And so that excites me. But in your plan, as you put the fence around it, I mean, I would say like what are those domino hires that make everything else a little bit easier once you do all the hard work of bringing that person on in that role, whatever it might be.
The ultimate domino that makes it difficult is figuring out where I'm spending my time. It's easy to say, okay, you're going to get promoted to be here. You're going to manage all of these things and go, and I'm going to deal with you and you're going to deal with everybody else.
Can you not build the whole system to run without you, knowing that you are the power player, the MVP, the switch hitter who will jump into any aspect or any role that you want when you want it and then parachute yourself out?
I don't see that.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing that for some projects, but I'm the guy speaking on stage.
Yes.
I'm the guy in front of the camera on the videos.
You're the product.
What?
You're the product.
But so like that requires day-to-day work, right? I need to do those things. I need to continue to think and continue to make videos and continue to create new things. And I need my team helping me. I'm going to jump in on projects that didn't exist before. That has to be a component of my weird mix that other people may not have.
Yes.
Skunk Works has to be that sixth role.
I love that term so much, man.
Yeah. So that has to be there. I think that was a nice insight I had yesterday. That has to be part of it because I'm going to be hopping between things. But otherwise, I don't want to build a system that I just sit back and go to some vacation beach home and it just runs on its own.
But you wouldn't even do that anyway. Even if you built a system where that was possible, you wouldn't allow that to happen. By the nature of your
right. So I have to be in it. I'm in it. Just what am I in on? What are the day-to-days that I'm in on is the thing of defense.
But can't you just build a system where you're in on the day-to-day for whatever it is in that window of time you want to be in on? Like build a system where literally you're like, Sunday night, you sit down with your Brendan book, you set your intentions for the week, and your intentions for the week are whatever it is you want to focus on that week and whatever it is you want to do that week. And on top of your responsibilities, because you will still have to manage 6 direct reports. You will still have to create videos. You will still have to speak. You'll still have to fly when that opens up. You'll still have to do a lot of things. And so you're not actually talking about what you're going to do 5 days of the week. It's just, what are you going to do on, 40% of the week, right?
Well, then I'm already doing that.
That's why I asked you this question to begin with. Like, what's happening? What's up? Like you're going to have 6 direct reports, aren't you? Or no? Are you going to have 1 report?
I haven't fully figured it out. I mean, that's part of
Okay.
it. But I need to figure out how deep I'm going to be on some things versus others, specifically marketing. How deep do I want to be on marketing versus the other areas and understanding it to be able to inject what I inject into things?
Do you not want to be really deep into marketing? You used to love SEO. You love systems. You love figuring things out. You love cracking the code. You love testing things. You believe that your split tests are better than anyone else. But if you apply all of that gamification and the love of the build and apply that to paid or apply that to brand or apply that to whatever, like, are you not interested in that stuff right now? Or does it feel like too low of a fruit for you?
I guess I don't know the size of the fruit. It's balancing that against everything else.
You don't know the size of the tree yet.
Sure. For me to go all in.
I'm just asking because I care. I know I'm not helping you right now. Sorry.
It's all opportunity cost, right? Like for me to go in and master Facebook ads, I know a lot more than I used to, but I still barely know anything. I could go in and crush that. Is that the best opportunity?
I don't think you should be doing that. But to me, that's not that's a very low, like very specific, detailed part of marketing.
Well, what's the biggest lever that I can pull in marketing, right? To get in front of as many people as possible that I'm not already doing.
It's the same type of creative ideation. Hey, what if that you do with coming up with the top 10s, coming up with your Instagram things, coming up with this, coming up with that. The coming up with and then turning it over to people to build, to traffic, all of those things. It's the reason why Dean is like sitting, banging out the page, is because he was coming up with it. And then
but to come up with it effectively, you have to know it.
I don't think like, I think you're thinking very, very specifically about, so when you develop a campaign, so like if we're developing a campaign for YouTube, obviously it's going to be very different than a campaign for Facebook. And knowing the audience, knowing the campaign type is really important. But getting into the nitty gritty of like the specifics of, we know that we're going to set a conversion and the conversion is going to be X is all you need to know. You don't actually have to know how, like you just need to know that a conversion can be set. You don't have to be the one to know how to set the conversion. Do you know what I mean?
And that specific, yeah. But there's a lot of things inside of winning on platforms.
In Facebook and winning on a platform, you don't need to know that on some platform, on some things you set the budget at the ad set level and others you set at the campaign level. And in September, Facebook is switching this. That doesn't affect you. Like knowing that piece of detail about the platform doesn't affect you. Knowing how to come up with ideas and advertise on YouTube or on Facebook is really important.
It's knowing enough to be dangerous in all platforms, or at least the platforms that matter. And
you got to go?
I do.
Okay.
So
well then, hey, part 2, anyone who's listening to this podcast, if you're interested to learn more, follow up with Evan's Road to 10 million, because we're going to probably just talk about this some more.
Is that what we're doing tomorrow? All right, we'll see. Wrap the fence around your ideas. The creation process is messy. If you want to see last week's episode where Mark is not in a suit, it's bonkers. Check out the video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and we'll see you there.